Okay, hello everyone. So, in my room, I would be talking about the agile methodology and how it can be related to the lean startup method. So, yeah, please join my room.
If you'd like to see the connections, the lateral connections between agile and lean methodology, you can visit Sandeep. Over to you, Darshana.
I'm going to explain Lean Startup Method with the perspective of a project designer or project manager, and how, as a project designer, you can use Lean Startup Method to create an impactful, user-focused solution or a product.
Okay. How to create a user-focused, impactful product using lean methodology. Thank you for the perspective, Darshana. Over to you, Paridhi.
I would be talking about the importance of identifying the core functionality of whatever it is that you're creating, identifying the core of your MVP, and then building upon it over time.
Absolutely. The key thing in MVP is to find, to build only the core first. So Paridhi is saying you can implement the MVP only if you know what is the core. How to find the core is what we will discuss. Okay. That's a nice angle, Paridhi. Over to you, Pratibha.
Yeah, so this method focuses on validated learning and it has 5 steps. So because a lot of people don't know about this method as of now, so we'll discuss about the basics first. And then there's a interesting concept of action over planning. We always say like plan and then do the action, but here this method focuses more on action than planning. So we'll discuss more about it.
Okay. That's a very interesting perspective. Interestingly, Pratibha, there's a Telugu movie dialogue where Allu Arjun, the Pushpa guy, he says that, people, people plan and then work, but street smart fellows like me work and then plan. So I think what you said reminded me of the movie dialogue. So if you find this exciting of how you can, act first and then plan later, you can, visit Pratibha's room, or if you like Pushpa 2 also, you can go to Pratibha's room. Over to you, Anay. Yeah.
My pitch would be towards how your goal setting in different scenarios will help you build your MVP and how these goals in different perspectives will affect your lean method of thinking.
Wow, that's a really nice angle because MVP goes through different phases. At each phase, how you actually set your goals, right? How should your goal setting mechanism change as per each phase? That's a really beautiful angle Anay has brought in. Wonderful, Anay. Over to you, Suruchi.
Yeah, so in my pitch, I would say about the waterfall model or the incremental model, which is generally used in software development lifecycle. But yeah, for MVP also we can use the same, and we can increment it. So yeah, my pitch would be that.
Okay, she's going to draw parallels between waterfall model and MVP model. If you're curious to know what those parallels are, you can check out Suruchi's room. Over to you, Bodhita.
Okay, so hi everyone. In my room, we would be talking about identifying the root causes and making continuous improvements on that, as to breaking the large plans into actionable chunks so that we could carry on it more efficiently.
Okay, how to break okay, but how are you connecting this to MVP approach, Bodhita?
In that, because what we'll be doing is breaking it to actionable chunks so that in the lean startup methodology, what happens is in like while we're evaluating stuff, it would be easier for us to do that, no?
Okay. Thank you,
Yes.
Bodhita. Over to you, Sagnik.
Right. So in my room, I will be discussing about a contrast between how early startups or lean startups essentially can focus on two aspects. One is having a data-driven methodology, and second is having a system of customer feedbacks. Right? They are taking feedbacks from people and essentially improving their models gradually. So which one is better? Which one should we choose initially, or should we, create a system which can incorporate both of them at the same time? Is something that I would like to discuss with everybody in my room.
Okay. Thank you for the contrast, Sagnik. Hopefully, there could be an interesting discussion to see the pros and cons of both the approaches. Over to you, Jairaj.
Yeah, in my room, I will be talking about. We all know that for a business, the core part of idea is really very important. So how to concentrate on that core part of idea, how to work on that, so that we can get the core customers for our business. I will be talking about this in my room.
We were expecting biryani from you and you took away Paridhi's speech.
Yeah.
For those who didn't get the context, he made a video with the biryani example around MVP approach. I asked people, what did you learn from Jairaj's video? They said, we learned about biryani. I said, Ari, that video is about MVP approach.
Tarun, I made that video in Yusufgura guest house and Dinesh was catching that phone.
Okay. Interesting. So, over to you, Ranganath.
Yes, so today I want to focus on how large businesses, do MVP or, apply lean startup methods, be it a new product for solving a problem solvent or, testing out a different vertical or a business initiative.
Okay, how would a large business implement the MVP approach? In fact, large businesses would be hurt even more, right? Because agility is a big ask in large businesses. You can't move as quickly as you would in a startup. Yeah. Thank you for the new dimension, Ranganath. Over to you, Soumitra.
So I'll be talking about setting the target niche and how SMBs use this theory to work. So I'll be trying to connect SMBs through MVP.
Okay, awesome. But I really like, Soumitra, I really liked your piece around how you were talking about the target niche, right? Just as Paridhi said, you need to know the core to the MVP. I think when you're using the MVP approach, you don't start with everyone. You start with only a few customers and you start with a very focused audience and then you scale to everyone else. So being able to establish whom you start with, I think is a very important part. I'm glad you brought this dimension.
That's what I learned when I was a part of SD MVP.
Acha, okay, you got slaughtered around this. Okay, you learned it the hard way being in the
Yeah, but
answer box. Glad. What do you, Raghuveer?
Okay, so in my breakout room, I'll be talking about leveraging the notion of experimentation to understand the possible bottlenecks, risks, and the nuances of PMF, and then scaling it up accordingly.
Okay. Of late, Raghuveer has been in this business of understanding different businesses, understanding their PMF, and then figuring out how do you scale them, right? So in that science, how does MVP fit in? I think is a very interesting angle. So at least I can see why it's exciting. Yeah, over to you, Archana, and then Vishwambara.
Yes, in my room, I'll be talking about how lean methodology and systems thinking can be interconnected. So, to identify the core problem in any of the thing or core product, we need to see the interconnectedness of that product. So, I'll be talking about it. Please join my room.
Okay, it's very interesting how you're talking both about being lean and also about seeing all the interconnections. Factor everything, but still focus only on one small thing. Okay, that's a very interesting contrast you're bringing in. Over to you, Vishwambara.
I'll be talking about in my room about how can creativity can be implemented on the very small group of things and can be scalable into largest group of things.
Okay, thank you, Vishwambara. So I think before I open the breakout rooms, whatever I'm speaking is especially for people who've been in deep thought for a good amount of time. Folks, I think, you're asked by teams ki, are you attending the LDI? Can all of you get your videos up, please? So a lot of people are asked, hey, Omkar Nikam, are you here?
Yeah, I am here.
Can I see you, please? Yeah. Okay. So hi, Omkar, this is for you. This is for everyone. I mean, there's naturally this question, right? After a long work day, I'm sure you, Ranganath, for all of you, it's a long work day. After a long work day, why are we here? Okay. I would ask myself I started working today at 6 o'clock in the morning, right? And it's almost 9, right? So after a long work day, why this? So Ranganath, I hope the answer is pretty clear, right? So we all know the MVP approach, but you see the angles that people are bringing in. Soumitra is like, whom do you start with matters? I asked him, why do you believe in it? He said, for 20 minutes, the court-martialed me around this idea in the Socratic dialogue. How will I forget it in my life? Now I remember, that Socratic dialogue. I was the one in the question box and I was tearing his model apart. And then, okay, now for his lifetime, he'll not forget this concept. And Paridhi is bringing in how do you spot the core. Ranganath is bringing in this piece of, okay, in a large scale organization, how is MVP going to look a little different from small scale business? Soumitra is like, in a small scale business, how is it going to look like? So, I mean, we may or may not get a chance to go into all the rooms. But Omkar, you see, we get that breadth, right? Although the company's name is Deep Thought, I would say for young people, breadth is more important than depth. Right? The exposure is more important than the depth. Depth can always be acquired over a period of time. Right? Anay, what was your pitch? Sorry, there was a very interesting angle you brought in. I wanted to bring that as well.
How can goals affect our lean?
Exactly. So this is a piece that a lot of us have not probably put thought into, right? That in an MVP approach, there are different stages. At each stage, the way you do the goal setting is going to change. So Omkar, the piece that I wanted to make was, we all know the MVP approach, but everybody has different experiences, right? Everybody is working on a completely different project. Jairaj is largely on scrapers, only on that, right? While Anay is, building systems, or Soumitra got butchered in a few Socratic dialogues a few times. So everybody is coming in with a completely different experience. So they are mapping their experience to this abstract idea and bringing a new flavor or a new perspective to it, which broadens the way in which we look at the concept itself, right? So I think this is the reason why, LDIs can, add value to how we think. And one last point I want to say is, I think to be an independent decision maker for a project, see, Omkar, today Charan is making decisions for you. Krishna is making decisions for you. Anay, maybe you don't have that luxury. Maybe you're, Shagun and me are coming once in a while. You're making decisions for yourself. Ranganath, maybe there are people making decisions for you, but slowly you're getting to that phase where you'll be, asked to make decisions for yourself. And maybe in the previous job, you were making decisions for yourself, but here you're slowly getting to that stage where you're going to make decisions for yourself. So when you all make the transition to that state where you make decisions for yourself, right? MVP approach has to be a part of the blood. What is the problem if MVP approach is not a part of our blood? We try something too big. And what happens when we try something too big?
Chances of
fail.
failure increases.
Yeah.
No, failure is fine, but the problem is when the
self-confidence will be hit.
Self-confidence, hamesha it will be hit in innovation. You'll fail 99 times, succeed one time. That's innovation.
The time and resource will be wasted.
Failure is waste only. The problem is not with the failure. Problem is not with the wastage. Problem is with the magnitude of the wastage. Whether you are wasting 100 mg of raw material or you're wasting 100 kg of raw material is where the problem is. You're wasting 100 mg. What will the company say? Innovation budget. No problem. Chalo, burn another 100 mg. You burn 100 kg. Without my approval, don't even enter the department. You get the contrast, right? So, one of the important advice that I got from Raghu Silam Shetty, the founder of Vishkarma, and Ravi Silam Shetty, the founder of Creative Organics, I think in 2012, I got this advice. They told me, Tarun, do your low-cost experiments. 12 years back, when I was just starting my entrepreneurial journey, they said, do your low-cost experiments. And I think MVP approach teaches us how to do the low-cost experiments. Right? Bahubali movie, right? They first throw one cannon, then they throw the cannon with the cloth. You remember the scene? First, they throw empty cannon. After the empty cannon, after calculating the distance, they throw the cannon along with the cloth. That's MVP approach for you. So MVP approach is everywhere, and I'm glad that we're getting to listen to so many perspectives to refine our understanding of MVP approach, because it's super important for us to have MVP approach as a part of our blood. Okay, Omkar, I'm not just talking to you. I think I'm talking to everybody while talking to you. Omkar, do we want to be average, or do we want to be masters of the new?
No, actually, I want to be faster. Actually, I too like to hear the pitches. So nowadays I'm listening more than speaking.
No. I'm not questioning why you're not pitching. Through you, I'm trying to make a case for everyone. A lot of other people who might be like, why should I do LDI, right? Because it's very important for us to have lean startup as a part of our blood. Because someday when that authority is given to you in your hands, using this lean approach is important to gradually do it than do it all at once, right? On that note, I will open the rooms and I hope everybody has interesting conversations.